Buddy, it's me, Miss VB, and I am just going to show you how to very basically create a story on snosites, how to very basically embed content like surveys, Spotify playlists, YouTube videos, SoundCloud interviews, and then how to get that story published so that people can see it with uploading a proper photograph and creating a proper headline. So this is the basics of how the computer software works, hardware, online stuff, and not much about how to actually write, but it should be helpful for you. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen for you here. And I'm on a very slow computer, so bear with me. You guys probably understand technology issues better than anybody at this point this year. Okay, so here we are on our website. What you are going to want to do is log in. Login is at the very, very bottom of that page. It's kind of sneaky and hidden. Here's my credentials, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. You should have your credentials that were emailed to you. It emails you this crazy long password. Go ahead and change that when you, whenever you want to. Just don't forget it. So here we are. You're going to go to Add a Story, which is right under the Snow dashboard, or it's right next to the Stories tab here. Here we are. Everything that you need to publish a story is right here on this page for you. So, thing number one, you need to include a headline so that you can do all your word processing online. Once you create a headline, it will save your story for you. So you can go back and edit it and work on it every single day without having to use a secondary thing like Google Docs or Microsoft Word. You can do everything right here. So the headline is going to be, you want to make it something that is attention grabbing and exciting. And then the secondary headline is more of an explanation. I like to make all of the headlines at least medium. And now here, do you see where it says permalink? That means that this is now saved. This headline saved this work that you will do into your word processor here. So now this big white box, the visual side of things, you really don't have to worry about clicking the text side of things ever. This is a separate tab for if you know HTML, or if you are wanting to embed something that's a little bit more challenging, you can go to the text side, and sometimes that makes it work a little better. But for now, just worry about the visual side. So we're going to stay here, and once my computer, there we go. So here's where you're going to type your story. I'm just going to type some gibberish here so that we can kind of begin to build some content. Okay, so there's some just jibber jabber. And you will see that I'm going to hit enter a couple times because let's say that I want to add a bulleted list. I can add a bulleted list for students about the points that I'm trying to make. And then maybe I'll type some more. I don't want to freeze my computer up again. And then look, I can also add some numbers if I want to list some steps or maybe the top 5 albums of the year or whatever. I'm going to hit enter a couple more times and I'm going to keep typing my story. Let's say I want to add, I'm going to show you guys how to use all of these things in the Snow Story elements. These are ways to interact with your readers and ways to make your stories more interesting. And you can also add media like a photo gallery. Let's say if you're doing a story on homecoming or prom, or maybe you're doing a story on some of the protests that took place and you have a lot of photos that you want to use, then you might do a photo gallery. along with like an interview and some sort of maybe recording that you've uploaded onto YouTube. So I'm going to add media. And then here's our media library, and I'm just going to show you guys. So I'm going to do create gallery because I want multiple pictures. If you just want one, then you could just upload one photo. But I'm going to click multiple to show you guys how it works. Now, do you see over here that it gives you the option to put in a title and a caption? I would suggest always putting in a caption so that the readers know what it is they're looking at. And then if you did not take the photo yourself, please, please, please make sure to either create a citation for it if you're using it from a public database, or give credit to the photographer so that there's no copyright issues. I'm going to include a couple more photos here, and then I'm going to create a new gallery. Now you can always sort of mess with these things and mess with the order, but I'm going to insert the gallery now. And then I'm going to continue on with my story. At any time, you guys, just so you know, you can hit preview, which is right here on the right-hand side. Hit preview and you can see what your story looks like at any given time to make sure that the stuff that you are doing is looking the way you want it to look. So I'm going to hit enter a couple times, and then I'm going to continue about my story. Bleep, 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 blah, blah, blah. I'm going a little too fast for my computer again. Okay, now let's say I want to include a Spotify playlist to summarize, I don't know, something cool that happened. Maybe it was like some summer vibes playlist or something that you want to include. So you can go to Spotify, and essentially the golden crown of all things for your interactive newspaper page is an embed code. So if you can find an embed code for something, that's EMBED, then you can pretty much include any interactive element into your story. So, for instance, Spotify playlists, especially ones that you might create yourself, they have embed codes. So I'm going to show you guys how to include that. YouTube videos have embed codes, online games have embed codes, online surveys have embed codes, recordings that you upload into SoundCloud, those have embed codes. So there's a lot of options of stuff that you can do. So let's go to liked songs, and let's say that I want to, it's going to make me log in. Let's see if I can. While my Spotify is logging in here, I want to show you guys how to get some embed codes from stuff. So let's say you wanted to give students an IQ test. Or you want to teach them how to zen out a little bit. Let's see what we can get here. Sorry guys, my computer is pretty slow. Makes it for a pretty fun day, dealing with it all day. Okay, so here we go. Eventually it's gonna load. Oh, it's so exciting waiting for it. There's nothing like it. Okay, so while this is loading, essentially what you want to do is you want to find the share button. And in the share area, and this goes for anything, whether it's a survey or a Spotify playlist, once you find share, then that is where you will also find the embed code for the content that you're trying to load. So, do you see where it says share right here? It's going to pull up a box for you, and it's going to give you a lot of different options on sharing your content. These little signs right here, the less than, greater than signs, that's embed. That's what you want every single time. So hit embed, and it's going to give you a super crazy long code. Don't mess with it at all, just hit copy, or you can control copy it. Now you're going to go back to your story. I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to add a snow story element. And then look at this. Oh, dang, video embed, what's up? I'm going to click it. I'm going to control V to copy it in there. I'm going to give credit. And then we're all done. And then you can insert your video embed. And then remember, my computer's loading it, don't worry. And then remember, you can preview at any time to make sure that it loaded correctly, that it's in the right place. If it didn't, it's no biggie. All you have to do is kind of hit enter and kind of space things out in a way that works for your story. So it doesn't matter if it didn't work on the first try. And sometimes the embed codes, people make them, so sometimes they're not right, and that's okay too. You just kind of have to find a different one if that's the case. So we are going to move on now with our story. So we embedded a video. I'm going to hit enter a couple times. Oh boy, let's see. And then we're going to pretend like we're still typing stuff. Ways to engage your readers. Go to add no story element. Let's pop in a quote. Let's say there's a quote from that video that you really want students to recognize. Speaker would be, we'll just say Guy from video, but I'm sure he has a real name. And then the quote might be, there you go, we'll do a Yoda quote. We could add a photo if we wanted. Let's say you have a photo in your gallery of Yoda. You can add it. I'm just going to use this to give you an example that you can. And then you can figure out where you want to put it. Do you want it to the left, to the right, so on and so forth. And then we're going to insert the pulled quote. And then I'll show you what that looks like in a second. You want to make sure that there's enough space below the video so that things don't get too messy. And then you will continue on with your life writing your story. Wow. Da-ba-da-ba-dee. Add snow story element. Anytime you want to embed something that's not a video, let's say it's a survey code or it's a Spotify link or it's a SoundCloud embed, then you can go to add snow story element and it will say infographic embed, and then you can connect the link right there. So for instance, let me see if this works for me. It may or it may not. But if it does, I think it would be worth you guys checking it out. Woo. So once you're able to get the share code, okay, that's not going to work. No time. I ain't got no time for that. Once you get the share code from your playlist or from your survey, you can even Google like free survey creator online. You can do stuff like that. I'm going to show you how to make a poll as well, but there's a lot of ways you can do a survey, and then you can get the embed code from the survey. So let's just pick one of these real quick. Google Forms is a really good one. Let's see, we'll just do a if I can just show you guys the Google form so we can keep it kind of streamlined. You could even do a Microsoft form. Those have embed codes as well. Anytime you go to the share area, it gives you guys, It's going to make me log into all this stuff, and my computer's a little too slow to deal with it. But essentially, all you guys have to worry about is getting an embed code from sharing. So let's say you go on to Microsoft Forms or Google Forms. When you go to share, it'll give you an embed code. And in order to put it in, all you have to do is add your Snow Story element, hit infographic embed, and pop it in. Same thing goes if you want to have a recorded interview. Take your phone with you, hit the record button on your phone, and interview somebody regarding the story you're doing or an opinion piece you're doing or their favorite songs of the year. Save that recording, and then you can upload it into SoundCloud. SoundCloud then will give you the option to share, and you can embed the code. So that is really the main thing I wanted to show you guys with embedding. Side boxes are kind of fun. You can use those to have little like sideline kind of facts or additions to the story if you want to use that. I'm going to just pull up SoundCloud so you guys can see. Both SoundCloud and YouTube have the ability, you can make free accounts with them and upload your content right from your phone. So that is SoundCloud, SoundCloud, or YouTube, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. Now, how to make a poll. To make a poll, you're going to go to polls here on the left, and you're going to go to add poll. We can leave this because we have a headline, so we're all good to leave it and come back to it. So I am going to make a question like, for instance, like the polls work out pretty well for voting, but they don't allow open boxes. So it would be like, let's say you included a playlist. How do you like the playlist? Answer 1. Oh boy, see, my computer's freaking out again. Okay, don't worry. Don't worry. I love it. I think it's lame. It's whatever. Okay, so those can be your answers. You have lots of options here if you want to expire the poll, if you only want to let voting go for like a day or two, like let's say you're doing teachers best and you only have 4 teachers to pick from, then you could have students vote on their favorite. And then you would add the poll to the like if you can imagine like a drawer full of polls, that's like you're adding it to the online like drawer that's filled with all your polls. And then all you have to do is add Snow Story element to your story. So we're going to go to stories. We're going to go back to our story, which is this is exciting. Yes. We're going to click it and it will open it up for us so we can continue to edit our story. Once this computer loads it all in for me. Okay. So now we want to add our poll. I'm going to hit enter a couple times. I do that out of habit because I'm not that tech savvy, and it kind of ensures that my content doesn't get all smashed up together. But you are more than welcome to have your own method of how to keep your content nice and clean. We want to include a reader poll. So I'm going to hit that. And then here is where you might have a ton of polls here. You might have like 40 polls that you make this year. I only have the 2. So I'm just going to hit that, and then I will insert the reader poll, and it's all done. So those are just some of the really cool things that you can do to make your story more entertaining and more engaging for the reader, which is really important. This is very important, this little box. Featured image, if you don't connect a featured image to your story, then it won't show. Your story doesn't show to the readers. So it's important that you have a featured image there. I will just include one of ours. We'll do that. Set the featured image. You get to decide where you want the image to go. If you want it to go above, where is it? Right here. Featured image location. Do you want it beside or above your story? And then always include your name. So if I put my name in, do you see how it says no staff profile exists? Create profile, hit yes, and then you'll have a profile that'll pop up for all your stories. And then their job title. This kind of goes with however your sponsor is running the class, but we like to use staff writer. And then you're good. And then you can go to preview, which is important so that you can see that your page is looking the way you want it to look. So let's scroll down. This is exciting. There's our headline. Polls. Do you like the playlist? I love it. I think it's lame. It's whatever. Vote. So that showed up. That's awesome. We're happy about that. Here is our featured image, and then our story is beginning. We have our bullets and we have our steps. We have our photo gallery. You can click it and scroll through. There's 4 photos there. Going down. Oh, look, here's our video. We can play it. I'm going to hit pause though, because I don't want my computer to freeze. Here's our pulled quote. And there is our poll. So I'm going to go back. Let's say I enjoy the way it looks. That's great. I notice I don't have a secondary headline, which I want. Boom. And then I'll make this medium. Cool. These are all just options for you. None of this is required besides adding a featured image, of course. Now, you also have to categorize where you want the story to be. So here's our categories. Where do you think it would go best? You don't want it uncategorized. You want to put it somewhere. So you could put it editorial means opinion piece, arts and culture, entertainment, headline news, Maryville updates. Showcase means it'll be presented to the students first, which is good. Or is it a sport? So you're going to click that. And then you're going to, boom, publish it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the basics of how to publish a story on snosites. I hope that clears things up a little bit. You can reference this video as much as you need, and you can always message me if you have questions. But this is just the beginning. It's just the basics. You're just getting used to all of this stuff. And the more you do it, the better you will get. I promise. Have fun and happy writing. And I'm going to end this recording once my computer lets me open up my options here. Have a good day, you guys.